All right, man. Let's talk about Matt Nagy saying that he doesn't know which quarterback he's going to start on Sunday, trying to play. Trying to keep the Lions off balance. All right. So let's talk about does it matter which quarterback starts come Sunday? All right. We play the Bears at 1 o'clock. I believe we are in Soldier Field. If I'm wrong, let me look it up. Correct me. All right. So it was always good to go to Green Bay and Chicago early in the season. It was good, like last season or two. Minnesota was playing outdoor. The Vikings was playing outside at the University of Minnesota. It was always good to get those games outside. I mean, out the way. The ones outside, get them out the way. And today you get the two outdoor teams in the division out the way early. And that's the great thing going to Green Bay on Monday night. Should have won the game, didn't win the game. That is what it is. Going to Chicago early. So you have to deal with those snowstorms at the end of the season, even though ultimately it probably doesn't mean much. Probably doesn't mean much because you probably won't be fighting for a playoff spot this year. And we all understood that. Some people had a lot of hope. Some people thought that we would be vying for a playoff spot this year. And honestly, that wasn't probably going to be the case. All right. We all knew it was a rebuild, but kind of when you see the team on the field now, you probably like, man, they probably should have. They should probably be 2-1 at the worst, or really they should be 3-0 that opportunity to win all those games, and that's where the hopes start coming in at. So a lot of people think if we can do this with minimum talent and with Jared Goff, I think we can. We actually can have a chance at making the playoffs. And I was right, but all the time that ain't necessarily right. So ultimately, man, you're not always going. I know games where the Lions, had the defense and offense and special teams showed up on the same night. We probably would have won the football game, but that's not reality. Sometimes it's fool's gold. Sometimes you so bad that so bad that people sleep on you. You make the game competitive. So I'm not really tripping. About it. Just hopefully they start drafting and building depth. So that's what you can help. And that's kind of been the issue the last 20 years. Each of the last 20 years affects the position we are now as far as team depth. You look at the last 20, 21 years, we affected by the lack of team depth. Even going back to those drafts, we are affected by that. Had we drafted better, some of those, we would have more depth. But really, when it boiled down to it, when you look at a guy, let's start off with Nick Foles. He probably less likely to play. He's been fairly inactive, and in training camp, most of the reps went to Justin Fields and Andy Dalton. And the rest of the reps went to Justin Fields. So most reps was Andy Dalton, and the second most reps was Justin Fields, and Nick Foles virtually didn't get no reps. Now you look at some teams that could have really used Nick Foles. And I always liked Nick Foles for one reason, not because of the Super Bowl. I bet against him. I think a backup going to the Super Bowl, but the sun shines on the dog butt every now and again. But Hostetler was the last one to do it, I think, before him. And one thing I like about Nick Foles was I picked him off waivers. The first year I ever played standard fantasy football together with standard league. And I don't play standard no more. I put money in standard. I picked him off waivers and kind of helped me win a championship. Got me to the playoffs, and that's the game. He had that 7 touchdown game. I think it might have been versus the Raiders or something of that nature. He threw for like 7 touchdowns, and by far he helped me win, fantasy football. It was one of the best waiver wire pickups I had. But the reason I didn't play it after that because they didn't pay me my full pot at work. And you can't get ignorant and do stuff to people at work. But I was mad. I was mad that they didn't pay me my money, bro. And had one of them won, they would have gave. And I ain't making no big deal of it. They never gave me my pot, so I never played that shit again, bro. Full of shit. I won the whole thing, and they didn't think I was gonna win impressively because it auto picked my team. I didn't know how to play it, so I was sitting on Yahoo Sports and I was waiting for it to kick off, but I didn't know you had to enter the draft room. And after that, man, I never played it again, bro. And I won because I had some great strategic pickups. But one thing you give Nick Foles is you probably more likely gonna get a statue in the pocket. With that offensive line, bare minimum that he's gonna play. He's the one quarterback who can't really move without the moving the pocket. He older, 32 years old, 28, 27. He seemed to only really work with the Eagles. And with I thought that the dude from the offensive coordinator from the Eagles, from the Colts, I thought he should have took a flyer on Nick Foles, but he rolled with Carson Wentz, and Nick Foles a statue, good arm, but he had more mobility. I think Nick Foles probably went down as one of the better quarterbacks ever. He probably would have been a top 50 quarterback. Let me be nice. And then you look at Andy Dalton. I think Andy Dalton suffered from a whatever the injury is, so he's a game time decision. Knee injury, they say it is right here. So you look at Andy Dalton, he's a little bit more mobile, a lot more mobile than let's be clear, than Nick Foles. He's a dude that there's other trash, but he's like one of those quarterbacks that can light the Lions up. 33 years old, he'd be 34 at the end of the month. And like I said, to me, I just never thought he had enough arm to be an elite quarterback. All right, this season, Rams, he threw 27, 38, 71 completion, but he had one pick, no touchdowns, sacked 3 times. And then you look at the next game he played versus Cincinnati, they won. He had 9 for 11. He got knocked out 56 yards, 1 TD. So maybe that's going to run away with that game anyway. But like I said, I like Andy Dalton coming on at TCU, win the second round. I just didn't think he had enough arm. Okay, but he has an above average winning percentage as a quarterback, 75, 67, 2. But he really not the guy. But he like one of those guys, Andrew Gregory, Dalton, the Red Rifle. He one of those guys that, well, more than likely, probably like the Detroit Lions. He just one of those guys. They kind of hold down the Patrick Mahomes. They kind of hold down, pay Manning for a couple. But they eventually get theirs. But you go to you play a guy like Nick Foles, Andy Dalton, or a rookie quarterback, Joe Webb, Teddy Bridgewater, whatever. They come to Detroit and throw a block party. They come to Detroit and throw an utter block party, man. So Lions do good. When you got an elite quarterback coming in, they can prepare. They tend to do good versus those guys. But then you come in and you got a guy like Andy Dalton or Justin Fields or a rookie that's not expected to do nothing, or Joey Harrington coming back into the fold, they trash. So, I mean, like I said before, man, I don't. It really don't matter who they start. I think took out Justin Fields. It really, at the end of the day, it really don't matter. But look at Justin Fields. Justin Fields, man, can't read now. Like I told y'all before, nobody want to listen to me, bro. Everybody watch the highlight film. I used to do that, but you literally have to watch the you really literally have to watch the you literally have to go in and watch let me see if I can find watch the actual tapes where the scout tape where you got you get to see the good and the bad plays. One day my boy John, he run DMV Cowboy channel. I think he turned into something else now, but you search that to come up. And one day we was talking about Deion Buchanan. He looked good. He looked good on film, right? He looked excellent on film, but when it got to like watching the actual, good on highlights, but it got to watching the rest of the film, he didn't look too good. And then you look, and on the actual film, he was trash. Not just the highlights, he was trash on the actual film. So you look at Justin Fields now. Here we go. You look at Justin Fields' young career. Very young, man. Obviously 0-1, 40%. He threw for like what did he do last week? He threw for 60 yards last week, 10 in the Rams game was short game, and then he threw 68 in a full game versus Cleveland. So it don't surprise me about Justin Fields, man. I just seen a quarterback that come from a program where they don't get their guys prepared to play pro. Going back to Alex Smith in Utah State with Urban Myers or Utah, whatever it was, or going back to with Tim Tebow. I remember he said it wasn't his job to help Tim Tebow get ready for the pros. And ultimately, you play this game not just for the love of the game. You play this game to get paid. You play the game to get paid, and ultimately, his quarterback, even Alex Smith, he looked, he should have never been. He should have never been the top pick. let's be real. He should have never been a top pick. But, hype around him, and he wasn't ready as a pro until Harbaugh, got him ready and put him in that position. But, Justin Fields literally can't read defenses. And then on top of that, he can't read, he can't get ready for protections. That's just something they didn't prepare him at Ohio State to do. I think he wouldn't have been in a better position staying in Georgia learning those things. But, that's just the knock on Ohio State quarterbacks is that they just can't figure it out, man. But ultimately, the one quarterback that scared me the most is probably Justin Fields because of the track record of the Detroit Lions having against mobile and subpar quarterbacks and young quarterbacks. Usually, they have some success versus Detroit Lions, and they just ain't able to make the adjustment versus those type of quarterbacks. So he scares me the most because his ability to stretch the field, down the field, sideline to sideline, he can cover it all. And I think when you play the Detroit Lions for these young quarterbacks, just something that tend to click versus Detroit Lions that don't click versus other teams. So I think he's the most dangerous quarterback, not because he's the best, because historically these are the quarterbacks that's done best versus Detroit Lions, man. And even though I see him struggle in the first two games, just simply, when it comes to other teams and the teams that he played and evaluating them, he needed to sit. He don't know how to protect coverages. Protections. You've seen him get killed in preseason versus the Bills. You see him get killed this year. He don't, and then also he doesn't know how to read coverages. So he got to learn coverages and protections. You just can't throw him out there. You have to quiz him on protections, quiz him on coverages, and then once he started to get the hang of it, there's one thing that's an issue with him too, and it's the elongated motion that he throw. He kind of got that Tim Tebow motion where he wind up the ball to throw the ball. In the NFL, you simply can't get away with doing that. They got to shorten that release up, even no matter how good your arm is. You can't wind that ball up. You can't pat the ball once you wind it up like that neither. He has that elongated release, man, and those kind of three things that worried people about that Justin Fields, man. And people ask why he didn't get the ball out of his hand. It was more it was 100% scheme, but also, man, don't be surprised if this dude can't get the ball off because his elongated motion. But second quarterback that worried me is probably Andy Dalton, a little bit more mobile, and then Nick Foles really don't worry me, but maybe it might click for him. He has in Chicago. But hey, let me know what you guys think. One time for the one time. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. I appreciate that. It's the best way to donate. Want to make a financial donation? Cash App, CJ Good 313, Venmo, CJ Good 313, PayPal link in the description. First way to donate, share the video, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. Check out Detroit Lions Talk Play.